Priorities. What will be the targets for this year's economic growth, employment, taxation, budget? We will have a chance to listen to the details in the coming hour.
各位代表，第13届全国人民代表大会第4次会议应出席代表2953人。今天的会议出席2900人，缺席53人。出席人数符合法定人数。
and the actual attendance number is up to the
现在我
standard.
宣布
Now I declare
中华人民共和国
that
第
the
13
People's
届全国人民
Republic
代表大
of
会
China's
第
fourth
4
annual
次会
session
议
of the
开幕。
13th NPC officially opens.
请全体起立。
Please all rise.
唱国
Sing
歌。
national anthem. Please take your seats.
各位代表，
Deputies,
今天的全体会议有
in
7 项
today's
议
annual
程。
session, there are 7 items on
现
the
在进行
agenda,
第一项
and
议
now
程
let's begin the first one,
审议政府
to
工作报
deliberate
告。
the report on government's work.
下面请
Now
国务院
let's
总理李
invite
克强同志
Premier
做
Li
报告。
Keqiang to deliver the report.
各位代表，
Fellow deputies,
现在我代表国务院
on behalf of the
向
State
大会
Council,
报告政府
I
工
will
作，
now report to you on the work
请予审
of
议
the government.
并请
I ask
全
for
国
your
政协委
deliberation
员
and
提出意
approval of
见。
it. I also ask for
一
members of the National Committee
2020
of the
年
CPPCC
工作回顾。
for their comments.
过去一年
1.
在
A
新中
review
国
of
历
our
史
work
上
in 2020.
极不平凡。
Last year was
面对突如其
extraordinary
来的
in the
新
history
冠
of the
肺炎
People's
疫情，
Republic of China,
世
facing
界
the
经济
combined adverse
深
impact
度衰
of
退
a sudden
很多
epidemic
重严
and a
重
deep
冲击。
global economic recession.
在以习近平同志为核心的党中央
Under the
坚
strong
强领导
leadership
下，
of the CPC Central
全
Committee
国
with
各族人
Comrade Xi
民
Jinping at its
顽
core,
强拼搏，
the Chinese
预
people
行防
responded
控，
with
取得重
tremendous
大战略成果。
tenacity.
在全球主
We
要
achieved
经
major
济体
strategic
中
success in our
唯一
response
实
to
现
COVID-19,
经
and
济
China was the
正
world's
增长。
only major
和
economy
平
to
攻坚
achieve
战
a
取
positive
得
growth.
全面胜
We
利，
attained a complete
决阵
victory in the fight against
全面
poverty,
建成小康社会，
and we scored
取得
decisive
决定性
achievements
成
in
就，
securing a full victory
交出一
in
份
building a
人民
moderately
满意
prosperous
世
society
界瞩
in
目
all respects.
可以载
Indeed,
出
our achievements,
载入
which have
史
won
册
the
的
approval of our
答
people
卷。
and the global
今
recognition
年
will be remembered
发
in
展
history.
主要目标任务
Our
小好
development
完成
goals and tasks
我国改
for
革
the
开
year
放
were
和社会主义
accomplished,
现代化建设
and major
又取
headways
得
have been
新
made
的
in China's
重大进
reform,
展。
opening up, and socialist modernization drive.
在艰辛的抗疫历程中，
Throughout this fierce
党中
battle
央
against
始终坚
COVID-19,
持
the CPC Central Committee put protecting the people and human life above everything else, with General Secretary Xi Jinping personally taking charge and making response decisions. And thanks to the tireless efforts of all of us, our gains in controlling COVID-19 were continuously consolidated. We made well-timed adjustment to our response approaches. We improved routine control mechanisms and effectively suppressed several local outbreaks. With these actions, we fully protected the health and safety of the people and created the conditions for returning to normal life and work. Over the past year, we carried out the following work to implement the decisions and plans of the CPC Central Committee and respond to COVID-19 and advance economic and social development. First, we formulated and implemented macro policies to meet the urgent needs of market entities and kept the fundamentals of the economic development, facing shocks of severity rarely seen before. And based on what we have done to ensure stability on 6 key fronts, we carried out the tasks of maintaining security in 6 key areas, particularly job security, basic living standards, and the operation of market entities. By maintaining security, we were able to deliver stability while also pursuing progress based on China's realities. We refrained from pumping money onto the market. We took decisive measures to strike balance between various macro policies. Using approaches of reforms and innovation, we helped macro, small and medium enterprises and self-employed individuals, which are large in number, extensive in scope, and took the most direct hit from COVID-19 by making both time-limited large-scale tax and fee cuts and institutional arrangements. We reduced the tax for more than 2.6 trillion yuan this year, including 1.7 trillion yuan in social insurance premium cuts and exemptions. We adopted new approaches in implementing macro policies. The central government established a mechanism to directly allocate 2 trillion yuan to prefecture and county-level governments, while provincial-level governments also increased their funding allocations to governments at these levels. And banks were given support to increase loans to businesses. And throughout the year, our GDP grew by 2.3%, and we have accumulated new experience of economic development. Second, we gave top priority to stabilizing employment and ensuring living standards, and effectively safeguarded people's well-being. Employment is pivotal to people's well-being. Our efforts to keep market entities amid at maintaining stable employment and meeting basic living standards. We are working with multiple dimensions and channels to support mass entrepreneurship and innovation by all. Multiple channels were tapped to support rapid growth. A total of 11.86 million urban jobs were added. China, as the largest developing country in the world, has kept overall employment stable in the face of such enormous shock. The supply and price stability of daily necessities was ensured. And we also fought an unprecedented flood. With all these measures, we have protected the safety and security of people's properties. Third, we made decisive progress in the 3 critical battles and achieving major targets and tasks as planned. We increased funding for poverty alleviation by a considerable sum. Counties and villages facing difficulties were placed under special supervision to see that they fully implement our assistance and support policies. We worked hard to reduce poverty through the development of local industries and to promote consumer spending. A total of 5.51 million people were lifted out of poverty in 2020. And all the 52 poor counties were lifted of poverty. We also scored important results in environmental protection and in ensuring blue sky. We also ruled out some major risks for financial instabilities. Fourth, we continued to advance reform and opening up. We improved the system and the mechanisms for the market allocation of production factors. We supported the SOE reform and also the development of private enterprises. Steady progress is made under the framework of the Belt and Road Initiative. Fifth, we vigorously supported technological transformation and innovation. We developed China's International Centers for Science and Technology Innovation, and Tianwen-1 Mars mission was successfully launched, and Chang'e 5 lunar mission, and the Fenzhou deeper sea and deep sea manned submersible were all successful. Six, we advanced the new urbanization and the rural revitalization and improved the layouts of urban-rural development and development among regions. Efforts were made to improve the layouts of urban and rural development. Grain output continued to increase, and rural revitalization is well underway. We have come up with a number of new policies in revitalizing some of the poor regions in the country. 7, we stepped up law-based administration and promoted social advancement. We submitted 9 legislative proposals to the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, and we also revised 37 sets of administrative regulations. Schools were reopened in autumn successfully, and the confirmed cases of COVID were treated using national budget. We also improved the efforts of cultural development.
Better public cultural services were provided. Primary level governance in urban and rural areas was enhanced. Solid steps were taken to address public complaints, and audit-based oversight was vigorously conducted, and State Council accountability inspections were carried out. We were successful in pursuing China's major country diplomacy. President Xi Jinping and other party and state leaders hosted or attended via video link major diplomatic events, including the extraordinary China-Africa Summit on Solidarity Against COVID-19, high-level meetings commemorating the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, the 73rd World Health Assembly, the G20 Leaders Summit in Riyadh, and the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting, the 22nd China-EU Leaders Meeting, and East Asia Leaders Meeting on cooperation. We upheld multilateralism and endeavored to build a human community with a shared future. We supported global cooperation on combating COVID-19 and called for building a global health committee. China thus made important contributions to advancing global peace and development. Our work last year was truly challenging. Yet, local authorities and government departments across the country kept in mind the big picture and shouldered responsibilities. Market entities over 100 million in number responded to shocks with fortitude and resilience. People worked hard and fought adversity in close solidarity and with the unyielding spirit of the Chinese nation, thus proving themselves true heroes. This is the well of strength that enables us to rise to every challenge and overcome every difficulty. Fellow deputies, we owe our achievements last year to the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, to the sound guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, and to the concerted efforts of the party, the armed forces, and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups. On behalf of the State Council, I wish to express sincere gratitude to all our people and to all other political parties, people's organizations, and public figures from all sectors of society. I express sincere appreciation to our fellow countrymen and women in Hong Kong and Macau as they are in Taiwan and overseas. I also wish to express heartfelt thanks to the governments of other countries, international organizations, and friends across the world who have shown understanding and support. While recognizing our achievements, we are also keenly aware of the difficulties and challenges before us. As the coronavirus continues to spread around the world, instability and uncertainty are mounting on the international landscape, and the global economy continues to face grave challenges. Domestically, there are still weak links in our work to control COVID-19. The foundation for achieving our country's economic recovery needs to be further consolidated. Impediments to consumer spending remain, and investment growth lacks sustainability. The SMEs and self-employed individuals are still finding the going tough, and the pressure in maintaining stable employment is mounting. Our innovation capacity in key areas needs to be improved. Some local governments have serious budgetary deficits. In forestalling and diffusing risks in the financial sector, we face formidable tasks. We still have a long way to go in protecting the environment. Many weaknesses in areas that are important to people's basic needs wait to be addressed. There is still room for improvement in government's work. Both formalities and bureaucracies persist to varying degrees. A small number of officials fail to fulfill responsibilities and are unwilling or unable to carry out duties. Corruption still occurs. We will face these problems and challenges squarely, make every effort to make improvements, and do all we can to live up to people's expectations. Second, achievements in the 13th five-year plan period and major targets and tasks for the 14th five-year plan period. Over the past 5 years, China has scored historic new achievements in economic and social development. The economy performed stably overall, and its structure was continuously improved. GDP increased from less than 70 trillion RMB to over 100 trillion yuan. Much was accomplished toward making China a country of innovators, with major advances in manned spaceflight, lunar exploration, deep-sea engineering, supercomputing, and so on. China's success in poverty alleviation has been recognized. Its entire rural poor population was lifted out of poverty, including 9.6 million registered poor people. Regional poverty was successfully eradicated. The daunting task we set ourselves to eliminate absolute poverty has been successfully accomplished. And we have added more than 60 million employment in the urban areas. We have built the world's largest social security system. New achievements were also made in education, healthcare, culture, and other sectors. And our national defense and military development was boosted. Thanks to our hard work in these 5 years, we accomplished major goals and tasks of the 13th five-year plan and made a giant stride toward the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. The period covered by the 14th five-year plan will be the first 5 years, in which we embark on a new journey to build China into a modern socialist country. China remains in an important period of strategic opportunity for development, yet there are changes in opportunities and challenges. We must have an accurate understanding of this new stage, fully apply new development philosophy, and accelerate efforts to create a new development pattern to pursue high-quality growth. So we will set the stage for building a modern socialist country. In accordance with the recommendations of the Central Committee of CPC for formulating the 14th five-year plan for economic and social development and long-range objectives through the year 2035, the State Council has drawn up the draft outline for the 14th five-year plan for economic and social development and long-range objectives through the year 2035. The draft outline, which was formulated under the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era, sets major quantified objectives and tasks for economic and social development during the 14th five-year plan period. The full draft has been submitted to this session for your deliberation and approval. The highlights of the draft outline are as follows. Improving the quality and effectiveness of development and maintaining sustained and healthy economic growth. Development is the foundation, and it holds the key for addressing all issues. We should maintain economic cooperation within a proper range, and we will meet the set targets of our economy. We will guarantee the unemployment ratio in urban areas and guarantee stable prices of commodities. Pursuing innovation-driven development and accelerating modernization of the industrial system. The R&D budget of the whole society increased by over 7% year by year. We attempt to put more efforts into this R&D arena than the 13th five-year plan period. And we will build a strong domestic market to construct a new development pattern. We are endeavoring to build a big domestic cycle and to promote the double circulation pattern. We will also do our best to have a village rejuvenation to complete the urbanization reform. And also we will advance rural revitalization by increasing urbanization ratio to over 65%.
Improving regional economic structures and promoting coordinated regional development. We will continue to implement major regional development strategies as well as the strategies for coordinated development across different regions and places. We will take steps to deepen opening up and reform and to constantly add momentum to our developments and promote high-quality development of the socialist market systems and build a higher-level open economy. We will promote green development and promote the harmonious coexistence between humanity and nature. Forest coverage has reached 24.1%, and the per capita energy consumption in China and the carbon emission have reduced by 13.5% and 18% respectively. Improving people's well-being and striving for common prosperity. We will do everything we can to improve the well-being of low-income groups and to expand the size of middle class. The average number of years of schooling among the working age populations will rise to 11.3, and the average lifespan will be increased by 1 year, ensuring both development and security and ushering in a new stage in building a peaceful China. Grain output will be maintained above the level of more than 600 million kilos. Looking into the future, we have every reason and confidence to overcome all the difficulties and obstacles on our road ahead and fulfill the goals and tasks in the 14th five-year plan, and thus opening a new stage in the development of socialism with Chinese characteristics. 3. Major tasks for 2021. This year is of particular importance to China as it pursues the modernization drive. To accomplish the government's work, we must, under the strong leadership of CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, and engage the following: Follow the guidance of Xi Jinping's thoughts of socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. Implement the guiding principles of the party's 19th National Congress and the 2nd through 5th plenary sessions. Act on the general principles of new development philosophy and create a new pattern of development. Pursue high-quality development, advance supply-side structural reform, and harness reform and innovation as the key source of momentum in our endeavor to meet the fundamental goals of satisfying the people's growing needs for a better life. Apply systems thinking and consolidate and expand the achievements of the COVID-19 response and economic and social development. Ensure better coordination in pursuing development and upholding security. Ensure stability on 6 key fronts and maintain security in 6 key areas. Implement macro policies in a systematic and targeted way. Keep major economic indicators within an appropriate range. Continue to expand domestic demand. Strengthen science and technology to provide strategic support for development. Pursue higher standard opening up, maintain social harmony and stability, and lay a good foundation for the 14th five-year plan and to commemorate the centenary of the CPC with outstanding achievements in development. In 2021, China will face many development risks and challenges, but the fundamentals will sustain in a positive manner, and we should stay confident, meet challenges head-on, and consolidate the good fundamentals of social and economic development. The main targets for development this year are as follows. GDP growth will hit 6%. Over 11 million new urban jobs will be created. Surveyed urban unemployment rate will be around 5.5%. CPI increase will be around 3%. Steady increases will be achieved in both the volume and quality of imports and exports. A basic balance of international payments will be struck. Steady growth will be maintained in personal income. Further improvements will be made in environmental protection. Energy consumption per unit of GDP will drop by 3%. Discharge of major pollutants will be further reduced, and green output will be maintained at over 650 million metric tons. China's growth rate is a comprehensive target, and we set this target at over 6% this year. In setting these targets, we have taken into account the recovery of economic activity, and this is conducive to sustainable and healthy development. To do a good job this year, we have to coordinate COVID-19 response and economic development. We have to engage in routine prevention and control of the epidemic and improve targeted prevention and control of the pandemic. We will focus on the following tasks this year.
First, ensuring the continuity, consistency, and sustainability of macro policies to keep major economic indicators within an appropriate range. The macro policies must continue to bail out the market performers so that we will not take a sharp turn, and according to the circumstances, we will timely readjust our macro policies to guarantee the fundamentals of the economy. We will also enhance the efficiency and sustainability of our proactive fiscal policy. In view of the containment of COVID-19 and gradual economic recovery, we have set the deficit to GDP ratio for the year at around 3.2%, slightly lower than that of last year. No COVID-19 bonds will be issued. As government revenues rebound, total government expenditures will be higher this year than last year. We will continue to prioritize increasing support for efforts to ensure employment, living standards, and the operations of market entities. Continued cuts will be made in central government expenditures, including considerable reductions to outlays on non-essential and non-obligatory items. General transfer payments to local governments will be increased by 7.8%, which is significantly higher than last year. This will include growth of more than 10% in both transfer payments for equalizing access to basic public services and rewards and subsidies to ensure basic funding for county-level governments. We will enlarge the scope of allocating budgetary funds to prefecture and county-level governments. This year, 2.8 trillion yuan of central government funding, much larger than last year, will be allocated in this way to provide timely and strong fiscal support to these governments to benefit businesses and people. Governments at all levels should practice fiscal frugality in the interests of the people. We will tighten our belts to ensure a continued increase in spending to meet basic living needs and help sustain and energize market entities. We will continue to implement and improve tax reduction policies. We will do more to help market entities stand firmly on their feet and thrive. We will continue to implement systematic tax cut policies, extend the duration of several temporary policies, and adopt new policies on structural tax reductions to offset the impact of some policy adjustments. The VAT threshold for small-scale taxpayers will be raised from 100,000 yuan to 150,000 yuan in monthly sales. For the micro and small enterprises, we will have the income tax on annual taxable income below 1 million yuan. All local governments should implement tax reduction policies fully and on a timely basis. We will keep our prudent monetary policy flexible and targeted and at a reasonable and appropriate level. We will balance the needs of promoting economic recovery and preventing risks. We will increase the money supply and aggregate financing, and we will maintain a proper and adequate level of liquidity and keep the macro leverage ratio generally stable. We will keep RMB exchange rate stable, and we will continue the policy of allowing micro and small enterprises to defer principal and interest repayments on inclusive finance loans and increase support for inclusive finance via re-lending and rediscounting. We will properly reduce financing guarantee fees for SMEs and improve mechanisms for risk sharing so as to render more profits to the real economy. This year, we will offer smooth financing to the SMEs and reduce the financing cost in a stable fashion. And the employment-first policy will need to be reinforced. We will continue to offer some policy support to enterprises with no workforce cuts, and we will also reduce the insurance fees for the industries and commerce sectors. We will allow innovation to drive employment, and we will also build some pilot projects. For the flexible employees, we will offer the social insurance guarantee, and we will also guarantee the efficient employment of college graduates, migrant workers, and the retired veterans with a number of training. And we will also support different highly skilled workforce and the flexible employees. For those capable employees, we will create more favorable and equitable employment platforms. Second, advancing reforms in key areas and further energizing market entities. While implementing policies to ease enterprises' difficulties, we will also intensify reforms to foster more dynamic and innovative market entities. With our reform, we will further transform the functions of government. We will leverage the decisive role of the market in allocating resources and give better play to the role of government. We will continue to delegate power, and we will expand market access, pilot the reform on the allocation of production factors, and ensure equal protection for the property rights of various market entities. We will streamline the SME deregistration process, and effective regulation is necessary for our efforts to streamline administration and delegate power. We will comprehensively enhance the supervision and oversight responsibility. We will introduce the electric certificate policies to be recognized across the whole nations. So all of those certificates could be handled one-stop online. For those frequent items applied by enterprises, we will guarantee that they could be handled across provinces this year. We will use reform policies to reduce the production and operation cost of enterprises. We will avoid electricity price increase for the SME's broadband, and the dedicated lines charges we will reduce 10%. And we will also promote the different charges on the highways. And for the height limit and the width limit, we will avoid some limitations in certain checkpoints. And we will also cut the airlines' contributions to Civil Aviation Development Fund by 20%. We will allow the market players to be reassured about their operation. We will also diversify different forms of ownership. We will continue to improve the basic socialist economic system and consolidate and develop public sector and encourage and guide the development of non-public sector. All market entities, regardless of their type, are participants in China's modernization endeavors, and each and every one of them should be treated as equals. We will implement the 3-year action plan for SOE reform and strengthen our returns on state capital, and we will work harder on anti-corruption to avoid the disorderly expansion of capital to safeguard the equitable market field.
We will deepen fiscal and financial reforms and pursuing innovative developments and enhancing international competitiveness. By using multiple channels, we are going to supplement the capitals of SMEs. We will strengthen corporate management and provide more support to SMEs. And we will continue to hold firm to the bottom line of avoiding systemic financial risks. 3. Promoting high-quality development of the real economy through innovation and foster new growth drivers. We will improve scientific and technological innovation, strengthen the technological power of the country, and we will raise our capacity for pursuing scientific and technological innovation in some of the key areas. Basic research is the source of scientific innovation, and we have to invest in this heavily. We will put in place independent selection of scientific research funds and reduce the burden of scientific practitioners so that they can focus on scientific researches and in some of the key areas, and they may therefore make important breakthroughs. We will leverage market forces to encourage enterprises to engage in innovation. We will boost the principal role of enterprises in innovation and encourage leading enterprises to establish innovation consortia, where we expand the channels that bring together enterprises, and we will also grant an extra tax reduction of 75% on enterprises' research and development costs, and we will raise this to 100% for manufacturing enterprises. By employing such mechanisms, we can encourage enterprises to increase research and development spending and pursue innovation-driven development. We will ensure the stable operation of industrial and supply chain and improve them. And we will continue to work on 5 priority tasks of cutting overcapacity, reducing excessive housing inventory, and we will refund all due VAT credits to advance the manufacturing enterprises and develop industrial IoT and step up the facility of 5G and 1,000 meg fiber optic networks. Fourth, expanding domestic demand as a strategic move and fully tapping the potential of the domestic market. We will stabilize and expand consumption and develop such industries of healthcare, tourism, and service, and we will also support the effective running of small and macro enterprises, and we support SMEs to use online platforms to come up with new business forms and patents so that more convenient products and services can be provided to consumers. And we will also guide platform enterprises to reasonably reduce the service charges so that we can dramatically improve the service standards and improve the service environment so that the consumers, they will be willing and capable of spending their money. We will also expand effective investment. This year, 3.65 trillion yuan of local government special purpose bonds will be allocated, and the central government will earmark a total of 610 billion yuan for investments. With this money, we're going to build some new type of infrastructures. Government investment will be tilted towards projects which will help improve the people's well-being. Rebuilding and renovation of 53,000 old urban residential communities will begin, and the public service standards will be further raised. Investment approval procedures will be further streamlined, and the business invested projects system will be put into practice so that we can bring in more social capital into this general picture. 5. Implementing the rural revitalization strategy across the board and promoting steady developments of agriculture and growth in rural incomes. We will continue to promote the development of areas that have been lifted out of poverty, bolster agricultural production, and improve working and living conditions in rural area. We are going to set up a 5-year transition period to support counties lifted out of poverty, and we will take measures to support those lifted out of poverty to engage in new job positions. And we will also follow up with more support for those who have been relocated from their inhospitable areas, and we support counties lifted out of poverty in Western China to continue to receive assistance from rural revitalization. And we're going to select some fine agricultural seeds to guarantee the supply of food and grain. Agricultural markets and agricultural product prices will be maintained stable, and food safety will be put at a priority. We're going to take multiple measures to guarantee food safety for 1.4 billion people.
We will take solid steps in advancing rural reform and development. We will improve the system of basic rural operations. We will keep the rural land contract relationships unchanged over the long term and steadily, appropriately promote scaled agribusiness operations of various types and speed up the development of specialized and commercial services. We will guarantee that the tens of millions of farmers could increase their income. 6. Pursuing high-standard opening up and promoting stable and improved performance in foreign trade and investment. We will guarantee steady increase of export and imports. We will increase credit support to small and medium foreign trade firms and improve their development quality. New approaches will be explored to develop trading services. We will also adjust the import tariff policies and increase imports of quality products and services. We will also ensure the implementation of negative listing, and we will use foreign investment more effectively. The negative listing for foreign investment will be further cut. We will open the service sector in a well-regulated way. We welcome foreign investors to increase their investment in China to further explore the market opportunities in China. We will promote high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, and we will abide by the market rules in implementing the key projects. We will also improve the efficiency and the quality of our foreign cooperation in that regard. We will deepen multilateral, bilateral, and regional economic cooperation. China stands ready to work with all other nations to open up further to generate mutual benefits. 7. Enhancing pollution prevention and control and ecological conservation and promoting continuous environmental improvement. We will implement the Sustainable Development Strategy. We will continue to intensify efforts to improve the environment by strengthening comprehensive measures on air pollution control and the control of fine particulate matter and ozone pollution. We will also clean up sewage outfalls into seas and rivers and black water bodies in cities. We will further restore our ecological system so that our people could enjoy blue skies and clear water. We will take solid steps toward the goals of achieving peak carbon emissions and carbon neutrality. We will draw up an action plan for the carbon emissions to peak by 2030. We will improve the industrial structure and energy mix. By promoting the clean and efficient use of coal, we will make a push to develop new energy sources. We will also support green financing development with dedicated policies. As a member of the global village, China will take practical measures and concrete actions to contribute to climate change control. And 8th, improving living standards and steadily advancing social development. We will develop more equitable and higher quality education. We will build an education system that ensures the well-rounded development of students. And we will further promote high-quality, well-balanced, and integrated development of compulsory education and improve basic conditions of rural schools. We will also raise the preschool enrollment ratio and enhance adaptability of vocational education. As to continued education, we will support the quality and standardized private schools development. We will also build the first-class discipline system, and we will also solve the issue of schooling for the rural migrant workers' children and continue to have universities and colleges enroll more students from central China and western China. We will ensure the students to live healthily and happily so that every child has the opportunity to fulfill their potential. We will improve the healthcare system. We will continue to advance the Healthy China initiative and carry out extensive patriotic health campaigns. We will build the first aid emergency response system, and we will build a team of village doctors. And we will improve the appointment measures to offer convenience for the patients. For the patients suffering from major diseases, we will guarantee they can access instant care. And with our medical care, we will also increase the subsidies by an average of 30 RMB per person. And as to subsidies for the basic public health services, they will increase by 5 RMB per person. We will also develop a general support mechanism for covering outpatient medical bills and take steps toward reimbursing outpatient bills through unified accounts. As to chronic diseases, we will also try our best to reduce the medical burden for the patients. We will strive to meet people's housing needs. We uphold the principle that housing is for living in, not for speculation. So we will keep the prices of land and housing as well as market expectations stable, particularly in the big metropolises. We will increase the supply of government-subsidized rental housing and shared ownership housing. We will ensure well-regulated development of long-term rental housing market so that we can help the youngsters in the urban areas to have a house to live in. We will do more to meet people's basic living needs. We will increase the basic pension for retirees and the subsidies and living allowances for entitled groups. And we will also build a guarantee system to develop community and the elderly care services, including the catering services and other diversified items for that purpose. We will also offer preferential treatment for the community members so that all the members can enjoy the convenience in services. We will also consider the needs of the elderly people so that such smart devices will not cause confusions or any hurdles for the elderly people. We will also refine the social welfare systems for orphans and people with disabilities. We will provide social assistance and support the people in difficulty. We will better meet the intellectual and cultural needs of our people. We will cultivate and promote the core socialist values, carry forward the great spirit forged in the battle against COVID-19, and foster civic virtue. China's press, publishing, radio, film and television, literature, art, philosophy, social science, and archives will continue to flourish. And we will prepare for the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic and Paralympic Games, and we will continue to strengthen social governance and develop new ways to conduct it. We support social organizations, humanitarian assistance, volunteer services, and charity development. We will protect lawful rights and interests of women, children, elderly, and people with disabilities. We will continue to refine the system for handling public complaints, and we will also strengthen the emergency rescue capacity and disaster prevention, mitigation, response, and relief capabilities. We will improve the system of accountability for workplace safety and improve the crime prevention and control system so as to guarantee the stability and safety of the society. Fellow deputies, in face of new tasks and challenges, governments at all levels must be keenly aware of the need to maintain political integrity, think in big picture terms, follow leadership core, and keep in alignment with Central Party leadership. We will stay confident in the path of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and we will uphold General Secretary Xi Jinping's core position and uphold the Party Central Committee's authority and its centralized leadership. We will follow Party Central Committee with Xi Jinping and his core in thinking, stance, and action practice. And we will implement the laws, subject ourselves to the oversight of People's Congresses and the Standing Committee, and submit to the democratic oversight of CPPCC public oversight and oversight through public opinion. We will strengthen auditing-based oversight. We will support trade unions, communist youth league organizations, women's federations, and other people's organizations. We will improve party conduct, and government officials must subject themselves to the oversight of the law, supervisory bodies, and the people. We will intensify efforts to build a clean government and prevent misconduct and corruption. China's economic growth has already generated remarkable growth, but to realize full modernization, there is still a long way to go. We must continue our hard work, and we must bear in mind the reality that China is still in the primary stage of socialism and run our affairs well. For all of us in government, we must always remain that people are the first in our minds, and we must guard against pointless formalities and bureaucracies and one-size-fits-all approaches, and we must truly lighten the burden on all those working on the ground. We must remain vigilant, be prepared for adversity, face difficulty squarely, and shoulder responsibility bravely to prevent and diffuse various risks and potential dangers. We should keep everyone motivated in advancing reform and opening up, and further energize market entities and unlock social creativity. In the course of pursuing development, we will take steps to address imbalances and inadequacies in development. We must take on responsibility, work hard, and continue creating achievements to meet the expectation of our people. Fellow deputies, we will continue to apply and improve the system of regional ethnic autonomy and fully implement the party's policies on ethnic affairs. We will forge a strong sense of community among the Chinese people and encourage all China's ethnic groups to work in concert for common prosperity. We will implement the party's basic policy on religious affairs and work to guide religions in adapting to socialist society. We will fully carry out the party's policies on overseas Chinese affairs, safeguard the lawful rights and interests of Chinese nationals residing abroad, returned overseas Chinese, and relatives of overseas Chinese nationals. By so doing, we will pull the tremendous strength of all the sons and daughters of the Chinese nation. Last year, major success was attained in the development of national defense and the armed forces. Our people's forces, with complete competence and fine conduct, safeguarded China's national security and participated in epidemic control. This year, we will thoroughly implement Xi Jinping's thinking on strengthening the armed forces and the military strategy for the new era, ensure the party's absolute leadership over the people's armed forces, and strictly implement the system of ultimate responsibility resting with the chairman of the Central Military Commission. Bearing in mind the goals set for the centenary of the People's Liberation Army, we will enhance the political loyalty of the armed forces, strengthen them through reform, science, technology, and training of capable personnel. We will boost military training and preparedness across the board. And we will improve the layout of defense-related science, technology, and industry and enhance the defense mobilization system. We in government at all levels should vigorously support the development of national defense and the armed forces and conduct extensive activities to promote mutual support between civilians and military. Fellow deputies, we will stay true to the letter and spirit of the principle of one country, two systems, under which the people of Hong Kong administration and people of Macau administration would govern their own region with a degree of autonomy. We will improve relevant systems and mechanisms of the two SARs for enforcing the Constitution and basic laws, and implement the laws and mechanisms for the two regions to safeguard national security. We will guard against and deter external forces' interference in the affairs of the two regions and support them as they grow their economies and improve people's lives so as to maintain long-term prosperity. We remain committed to the major principles and policies on work related to Taiwan, to the One China principle and the 1992 consensus, and to promoting the peaceful growth of relations across the Taiwan Strait and China's reunification. We will remain highly vigilant against and resolutely deter any separatist activity seeking Taiwan independence. We will improve systems to safeguard the well-being of Taiwan compatriots and ensure that they enjoy same treatment on China's mainland as local residents. We will promote exchanges, cooperation, and integrated development across Taiwan Strait to bring a bright future of rejuvenation. China will pursue an independent foreign policy of peace. We will actively work to develop global partnerships and promote the building of a new type of international relations and a human community with a shared future. We will continue to pursue the policy of opening up and cooperation and work to make the system of global governance fairer and more equitable. We will continue to deepen international and regional cooperation and actively participate in international cooperation to prevent and control major infectious diseases. China remains committed to pursuing peaceful coexistence and common development with all other countries in accordance with the principle of mutual respect, equality, and mutual benefit. China will join hands with them to meet global challenges and work tirelessly to promote world peace and prosperity. Fellow deputies, as we shoulder heavy responsibilities, we must forge ahead with even greater resolve. Let us rally more closely around the Party Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. Hold high the great banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Follow the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. And push forward in a concerted effort to complete the objectives and tasks for this year. And celebrate the centenary of the Communist Party of China with outstanding achievements. To build China into a great modern socialist country that is prosperous, strong, democratic, culturally advanced, harmonious and beautiful, let each and every one of us keep making tireless efforts to fulfill the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation.